Even though you
Yes.
can edit it,
I mean,
still,
I do. Well, we do cuss sometimes, and I do have to
I
do that,
know,
but that's only because this president brings it out of us. I
he
mean,
does.
I
He does.
hate to
Well, and
use
not
him
only
as
the
an
president,
excuse,
the whole administration.
Hi, welcome to Texas Tough Chicks. If it's your first time here, we're glad to have you. And if you're coming back for your poison, welcome back. We just had to do another session because we both had an opportunity to see some of the residual effect of both of our former and our current president being on the border on the same day.
Mhm.
And boy, we got to talk, and I said, let's just go ahead and get this tape because we got a lot to say about this.
Blood's boiling, blood's boiling.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Do you want to
yeah.
start, or do you want me to start off
Oh,
on?
I'll jump in with
Okay.
first of all, I heard before Biden ever even went to the border a few days before that union, the Border Patrol union head told him, keep our name out of your mouth. And I said, well, that's pretty big.
Yeah,
And then
that's pretty bold.
and then I also heard that there was a citizen, Brownsville, that basically said, hey, I don't know why you're here. This is not where the problem is. The problem is over in the rest of the border. This area is pretty secure. So
Right.
why are you here? And he ripped into him about it.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
wow. I mean,
That is so
this is just a
inconsiderate.
show. This is just a show. A couple days ago, the White House spokesperson, John Pierre, she didn't know that when Biden was going to go to the border. So obviously a few days ago, he didn't have it scheduled, but when he knew that Trump
Trump
was
was
going to
going to
go,
be there.
of course, then magically he has it on his schedule to go. But
Right,
I mean, what is he
right.
down there for? He's down there for photo op,
Right,
you know?
right. Oh, to
And
say that he cares so much that he went to the border. The thing is, he went to the safest part of the border, and Trump went to the epicenter of what was
right,
happening.
exactly.
So I'm
Exactly. And
sorry. It's
then,
just,
he's shuffling around like
hmm
he's 90 years old, not like he's 80 years old, like he's
right,
90 years old. It's very
right.
interesting. I'll put a link to it in our description if I can find it. The Italian, for lack of a better word, the equivalent of the SNL in
hmm
Italy,
Oh, yes, yes.
they put together a sketch of Biden, and
Oh, I
it's
remember that. Yeah,
hilarious.
it
Like he's
is. It
like
is.
walking, and one thing that struck me is he's walking with his arms out in front of him,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
which I haven't really paid attention to that. That's a neurological sign right there because
Mhm.
naturally we do an involuntary swing of our hands. Okay.
Right,
When
right.
someone does something that's off of that involuntary neurological system, then we
hmm
pay attention to that. And
Right.
literally during this, whatever this, I guess, photo op event that
hmm
our current president did, his hands when he's walking are directly in front of him, not swinging. They're almost like not palms up, but the back of the hands up, forward, facing
Oh,
forward.
wow.
And they're just in front of him, almost like the sketch that I just watched. And
A
there's just
zombie
a lot
walk.
going on. He's got his mouth open. He's got that blank stare. He's saying multiple times, where's the X I need to stand on? He moves a
Oh,
lady out
Lord.
of the way because she's standing on his X on the floor.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, it
And there
was
was,
really damaging. I feel like he shouldn't have gone. He would have been better off not to go at all
right.
because there's so much material here that
hmm
confirms what we all are seeing with our own eyes. No matter what they
Yep.
say, they can say he's sharp as a tack or whatever they want to say, but really with our own eyes, we're witnessing someone who is in a mental decline,
Yes.
somewhat naturally for his age, but also
Sure.
that there's something more happening because we see the
hmm
neurological signs of his hands being in front of him and not
Right.
swinging involuntarily. And, the shuffle is a very good indicator. The blank stare, the open
hmm
mouth,
Right.
there's just a
Total dazed
lot
and
of
confused.
yeah, the dazed and confused, not knowing where to go. That is all part of this.
Even with directions. I mean, he even has
Mhm,
directions and he
mhm.
can't get it right. So
And
that's
he's
really
got they
scary.
did have, unfortunately for him, they spanned the room, and you can see his teleprompter. His teleprompter is probably a 50-inch screen. The
Wow.
letters are probably about 6 inches tall, from what I could tell.
Wow.
because they could only fit 3 lines on it.
Wow.
Huge, telling him exactly word for word what to say. But then he goes off this very bizarre little off script thing that he did where he's standing there and he's saying, he goes off and starts to just say something about the wildfires in Texas, which is so interesting because what does that have to do with the border? I mean, it shouldn't have anything to do with the border, right?
We hope
But
it doesn't have anything to do with the
right.
border,
And
but
so he's off script and he says
Mhm.
this very interesting thing. He says something to the effect, this is a paraphrase, but you're looking down from, looking down on the burnt houses, and he says, and you see one house that's completely burnt, and he says, then you see the house that has the right roof. And then he says, well, anyway, like he caught
Oh,
himself saying something he shouldn't
wow.
have. And
You
I'm
know,
like,
you
what
know,
the heck?
you know that that's the kind of stuff that they were talking about in the Maui fire, how
Right?
certain houses didn't burn because they had blue roofs or
Right.
whatever. And I'm going, there's, man, that's kind of
And even if there's no relationship with the Texas fire, because we're not saying, we're not trying to create some kind of conspiracy, but what I'm
no.
saying is, why would he say that even about the Maui, like basically bring in to this conversation about the
Uh-huh.
border?
Border,
Why does he
something.
bring in this weird conspiracy about the Hawaiian? I think it's Maui. Is it Maui?
Maui, it's Maui, Lahaina.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Why does he bring this into the conversation about the border? It doesn't make any sense, except for he goes off the
Because
script and he's like a child. You know
because
how
he's
when you
con
have a child that you don't want to repeat things and then all of a sudden you slip up and then
oh
you're in
yeah.
at some meeting, with your pastor or
Mhm.
something and your child says
Goes,
something about a movie you watched or
yeah, yeah.
something,
And don't tell anybody
Right.
we watched that, but
Right. Yeah, I think he
yeah, yeah.
slipped up and did that.
Well, it makes you wonder is okay, so he's flying over this fire and in his mind he's flying over Hawaii.
Right? Maybe he was
Who knows?
confused. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Maybe, I
Whatever
don't
it
know.
is,
It
it's
was weird. He
bad.
said, well, anyway, that's his indicator that whenever he says, look,
Yeah.
or well, anyway, that
Mhm.
means he knows he's gone off script and he's gone
Right,
somewhere he shouldn't.
right.
He
And
doesn't
somebody's
have
probably
anything
gonna
else that he should
reprimand
say
him.
about it,
Yep.
or doesn't have anything else that he can say about it.
Mhm.
And he said,
Yeah.
well, anyway, and I'm like, what is going on?
Wow.
This is insanity. You go back to what you see
The
the
border.
footage
Mhm.
of Trump being down there, and he's just clear as a bell. Clear as a bell.
Yep.
Yeah, he says a lot of hyperboles. He does. He does. He just says things in his own style of saying, but
Mhm.
it's all there. His mind is there. He turns
Well,
around. He knows where he's going. He knows he doesn't have someone telling him to get in the truck. So I just want to say a little bit more about Biden too. What the things that I observed, like when the border patrol or whoever was standing with him, he just
mhm,
had like a one group that was standing with him, and who knows, they might have been forced to stand with him. They,
probably.
who knows, like their government agency, and the
Right.
president's coming, and you got kind of like the military. Even if
Yeah.
you're not with him, you got to stand behind him, right? So
Right.
they're with him. They're inside a building, and I'm like, okay, well, they're inside a
Mm,
building. Okay, so they're
wow.
making like a presentation to him. So I'm like, okay, but I never, I'm sure he was outside at some point, but I was having a hard time finding that footage. And then on top of it, he's inside this building with everyone close, and he gets to coughing.
Oh.
And I'm saying, I'm sorry. Like,
Oh.
honestly, in the world that we've just lived in, and them trying to force us to go back to the face diapers,
Right.
the vaccine boosters, and try
Right.
to trust them now. Here's our
Mhm.
president of the United States going like this in his hand that he shakes with everyone.
Oh God.
Yeah. And I'm just like, what who has not advised him? Who has not advised him? Because honestly, now, if he has something, he's shaking hands with our border patrol.
Oh Lord.
Okay. They don't need to be sick. And I,
No.
I just think, oh my gosh, this is just so, I don't know. The views I saw of Trump was outside. Of
He
course, I didn't
was.
watch the whole thing. I tried to. I actually tried to find live coverage of it when it was
Right.
going down.
Yeah,
Couldn't
I
find
couldn't.
what time they were going to
Mm-mm.
be there.
No, I did see photos of Trump, and he's out there standing next to the razor wire
Right,
fences. And who's with him? Governor Abbott.
right.
So
Governor
Governor
Abbott
Abbott was
and a
with
sheriff,
Trump.
I think, was with him.
Oh yeah, I think there were several people that were,
Hmm.
important people there with him.
And might I just add to that? Those were voluntarily. They
Mhm.
were voluntary with him.
Right,
They were
right.
not forced or coerced to
No,
stand with him.
no, no, no.
And
And
he acts more presidential than our president.
right. Well, and
I'm
they said
sorry.
when his plane landed, apparently there's a huge crowd there cheering for him. And he stopped and shook hands and made comments as he went in to get into the SUV that took him out to the site where they were going to go. Um, did Biden get any of that kind of treatment? No, I
No.
don't think so.
Oh, in Texas?
I don't think so. No.
To
And
go
what
down there.
something
I
else
think
that
that
really makes me mad about
back.
all of this, really makes me mad, is he still is attaching border security to the bill that he, and this is
Right.
the talking point of the left, that the Republicans will not pass this bill, the spending bill, therefore we cannot secure the border. BS. How many times in American history has a
Exactly.
president been able to shut down a border? I'm pretty sure Trump shut it down during COVID. I'm pretty sure it was shut down during the Spanish flu epidemic. And there was a period actually, and I tried to find the dates. There was almost a 10 or 12-year period, maybe 20, when they shut down the border just to assimilate all the immigrants who'd recently come in. He has the power to shut the border down, but he will sit. I guarantee you, he has said this. He said, well, if the Republicans will just sign this bill, the minute it hits my desk, I'll sign it and I will shut the border. Well, you jerk, you could shut it now.
Right. Exactly. And you know what? I saw footage. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. I don't know when this happened. Footage of some American men that went down to do, I think, geese hunting to
Uh-huh.
Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Before they could cross back over, these are American men.
Right.
They were in a cage. They were literally fenced in, waiting to
Wow.
get secured and processed to go back into America. I am not kidding. I'm not kidding you.
Right. Right.
And there shouldn't be a former president coming down to the border acting more presidential than our current president.
Right.
We shouldn't have such a bad president in office right
Mm-hmm.
now that someone could go down there and show him up in like 5 seconds.
Right.
He is supposedly the leader of the world. I just think anyone who's watching this, I'm just sitting here the whole time going, oh, please God, make him go back and not even be
Right.
down here, because this is so
Right.
much footage that our enemies are gathering on him.
I read something in the paper today that Putin was basically saying that the West better stop jacking with them because that we could be facing a nuclear fight. And I went, oh, great.
Uh,
Oh, great. Just
okay,
what
so
we need.
here's the man on the opposite side of that. The one who shuffle walks,
Uh-huh.
looks with a blank stare with his mouth open. Someone has
Mhm.
to tell him to get into the vehicle because he doesn't
Right.
even know with the door open that he's supposed to get into the vehicle. This is the man on the opposite side of that nuclear button.
Right.
I'm
Right.
sorry, that terrifies me.
As you explain to me how any of this is good for
Right.
the average American citizen.
Exactly. For
None of it is.
our
None of it.
American culture, our American life.
Our safety. Every day now,
Exactly. Our
I hear
security.
news stories about an illegal that's assaulted somebody or shot
Right.
somebody, killed a police officer. It's just getting worse every day.
Yep. That floodgate opened up 100% when Biden took office.
Oh,
He
yeah.
is fully 100% responsible
Yes.
for the
Yes.
mess we're in right now.
Yep.
100%. And I'm telling you, if terrorists come in and they start attacking American citizens, that is a 100% on our current president right now.
Yes. Yes. And Mayorkas and all the other people
Mhm.
up there, every single one of them.
They're handing it over,
They are.
handing over
They are.
your country
Yep. Your future.
to who knows
So,
who.
no.
So get Texas tough,
Yes.
and
And we'll see you
we'll see
next
you next
time.
time. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Did you see I got my flag?
Yeah, I did. I was going to say something about that yesterday. Yeah. Now, okay. Well, I like
All
it.
right.
Now as we're
Good.
balanced, right?